back to another episode of Grown Folks Talk. I am your host.
Yeah,
And
B.
today we're talking about
Talk
regrets,
your
we're talking
shit.
about nosy people, sabotage relationships, and the lady of the hour that we're speaking of is Tyrese Gibson's ex-wife. And now I did a video on their divorce, so if you didn't see that, go back and watch it. What are you doing? But today we're talking about her interview that she did where she talked about how she regret her decision to divorce her man. Let's get into it.
Affected me more, her not having her father like in the house like that. It's affected me more seeing her used to something I didn't want her to get used to. Didn't want her to get used to. You know, I was raised in a divorce home, and it was a high conflict divorce. And I didn't want that for her. So I think it's harder for me because I made the decision. You know, I made that decision. And gosh.
Take your time.
She wasn't ready.
You know, at the end of the day, like, I don't think people understand, like, how, like, when you see a child, like, and she has a father, and I have a really great relationship with my dad. I have a great relationship with my stepdad. I have great relationships with the men in my life. And, you know, I always wanted for her to have that relationship, and she does. Her father loves her. You know, we've been able to go to like everything that's ever needed, like for her, like medically and things like that. If he needs to show up to, you know, a doctor's appointment, he'll go, things like that. But you know, it's hard. You know, it's a hard process to, you know, I would love for us to come to a place of peace for sure.
All right. You're gonna learn today.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, you heard it for yourself. Now, it's so much to unpack in this statement. Again, I did a video on them two divorcing, and she was actually supposed to get $20K a month. And some people said that didn't work out the way she thought. So now she crying, doing interviews on the internet. You know, I don't know. But in all seriousness, this is one of those grown folk conversations. So let's have it. Let's get into it. Let's talk about broken homes. How many of you all have come from a broken home? I know I have. My parents are cool. They've always been cool. However, they were never married. My sibling and I have a different last name than my father. Now, granted, I'm married, so my name would be going to be changed anyway, but that's something as kids we didn't really look at like that, because my parents been broke up since I was like too little to remember type of thing. So it was almost normal for me to visit my dad on the weekend. He got his house, my mama got her house, her setup, his setup. That was so normal to me. And as I'm doing this content and in these spaces having these conversations, I've realized that ish is abnormal. Like what's normal and toxic and chaotic to us, to people, excuse me, is normalcy for us, because you know it's just what it is. Until you get older and you open your horizons, you have more experiences and interactions, and you learn this ain't it. So anyway, broken homes, and she spoke on that. See, they got a daughter, and maybe she ain't think about that while she had people all up in her ear telling her what she should and shouldn't do, telling you to leave your man. Now, a lot of people, we grew up hearing the saying, what, I can do bad all by myself. Some of y'all, you know, you'd have women say, some of y'all just want to have a piece of man, you know, knocking men. And let me tell you something about me and my husband. It's been 20 years. Me and my husband been together 20 years. And let me tell you, when we got together, ain't neither one of us have nothing. Because y'all know we keep it a buck around here. You already know. You already know how we do over here. I ain't trying to make it seem like we got it like that. We all of that. We regular, humble, everyday people over here. You know, I know most people on the internet, y'all rich, y'all balling, but that ain't the case for us, you know. And it definitely wasn't the case back then. You know, we struggled together. We built together. I know a lot of people don't want to do that. And to each his own, you'll see where that gets you. But a lot moving on, listening to other people. My husband is actually ready to tell his story. He has an exceptional story. If you, a shout out to Ghetto Talk, shout out to my husband. If you're not subscribed to him, what are you doing? My husband has an exceptional story of his upbringing and things that he went through. Is very engaging. So be on the lookout for that. But a lot of people talked ish about him. A lot of people look down on men when they have certain backgrounds or been through certain experiences, and sometimes it's their fault, or not 100% their fault. You know what I mean? Sometimes we are a product of our environment, and sometimes our parents or grandparents' poor decisions affect us. For example, I'm gonna just use me. I was born and raised in Detroit. There was nothing that I could do to change that. My parents decided to stay in Detroit when they became adults, but ultimately it was my grandparents, right, who came to Detroit. So there you have it with that. But let's talk about other people. Let's talk about jealousy. Let's talk about how you can be jealous of your spouse. Could she have been jealous of Tyrese? Because he's a high value man, if you will, or even if you don't think he was that, at least he was a multimillionaire, right? Could she have been jealous of him? Y'all know that's real. Spouses be jealous. Spouses be wanting that spotlight. Hello, Jada Pinkett Smith. I mean, come on. You know what I'm saying? So I'm thinking that maybe there was some jealousy there. There have maybe even been some entitlement with this young lady, and maybe that was a component. I'm not saying that was 100%, but a component, right? Can we talk about regret? People making decisions and then regretting them later, being selfish adults and not realizing the decisions you make today affect you down the road. Because now look at baby girl. Now baby girl caught up in the middle of a broken home, which you said you grew up in a home of a divorcee, so you should have already known. But we're gonna move on, and then further. Let me say this, and then furthermore, I hate this, but we're gonna keep it a buck around here. Women feeding into the stereotype of women filing for divorce. You brought all of this on yourself. Now you want to cry in an interview, which is 9 out of 10 a paid interview. So what are we really even talking about here? You know what I'm saying? You trying to get this man for $20K a month. Now all of a sudden you regret it. He even, in the video that I did, he even said when he went to court, he found out that she was just with him for status. So I don't even know if I believe this. Y'all know lately people been getting on these spaces and capping and doing skits. So I'm so like, I don't even know what to believe. So I don't really believe nothing nobody say for real. But it is what it is, right? We gotta take it how it's given to us. But yeah, we spoke about money. You know, Tyrese definitely, obviously, I mean, it's Tyrese Gibson. He obviously got money, but you let other people be in your ear. So let's go back on jealousy. You know, your friends and family could be jealous of you. Just think about it. Just think about it. If you, let's take an everyday person like me from Detroit. No one in my family is necessarily rich. So if I marry rich, I may have a cousin, or let's say if I had a sister hypothetically, or an aunt, people are going to be jealous of that. You know, people aren't going to want to see that, especially if you ain't breaking them off no money. Let's keep it real. You know, Tyrese said himself that this chick in front of the judge said like she was just with him for status. Not saying people don't marry for status. I mean, come on, why look at the king and queen over there in England and stuff. You know, I'm sure most of the people that marry into the royal families do it for money and status. Like, let's keep it real. I know people do it, but at the end of the day, now you crying in front of a microphone, sitting up here talking about how you regret this and everything your daughter. You didn't think about your daughter before you went and got your divorce lawyer? You know, and I did a little background into this, and people were saying she had like 3 different lawyers on deck, and that I guess the initial money that she thought she was supposed to get from her divorce settlement don't look like things are going in her favor. So now she regrets this and she regrets that. You know I got a comment from somebody who told me, why am I riding so hard for black men? Are black men riding as hard for me? And I'm like, excuse you, duh. My father rides for me. My brothers ride for me. My husband rides for me. Like, I'm not defending black men and getting, you know, shitted on in the process. You know, I know some black men have had issues with black women, issues with their mothers and things like that. But everybody has a story. And I'm not that person. I'm not T.O. I ain't Jamie Foxx. I'm not going to sit up here and say, oh, black men talked about me or did me this way, so I'm going to write the whole racial group off and go date outside of my race. Are you kidding me? And to the people who commented in my last video who ain't like me talking about not being down with the swirl, look around here. If it's anything outside of a Afro-Latina, African-American, or a African, it's swirling. If you don't like it, that's fine. I'm just saying around these parts, that's what we call it. You ain't gotta like it, baby. It just is what it is. We don't swirl around here.
Nope.
So
Nope.
that's just my take on the Tyrese situation with his ex-wife. I think that she She may have put all of her eggs in one basket, thinking she was going to get all this bread in a divorce, and then found out that things wasn't laying in her favor. She was being super selfish. She wasn't thinking about her daughter. She wasn't thinking about him. You know, he was probably in it for the long haul, and you up and filed for divorce on him. You weren't thinking about the people who were in your ear. May have been some jealous mofos, jealous of your lifestyle, jealous because you wasn't breaking them off money like they thought. She's obviously a nice looking young lady. Maybe, you know, jealous and envious of that. Who knows? People have to be adults, and adults, especially when you've been with somebody for a minute. I'm not listening to nobody when it comes to me and my husband. They got me when I was younger. I listened to people, but I had to realize them same people that was in my ear saying stuff about my husband based on his past, stuff that's not happened before I even met him. You know what I'm saying? And same thing goes for her. You got to look at these. What are these people doing for you? Did they make you Mrs. Gibson? Didn't you get this man on your own? So why would you need friends and family members' advice in your marriage? I don't understand that, especially people who ain't married. If it's anything negative coming from somebody who ain't married, I ain't listening to you. Because at the end of the day, this is me and my husband. You ain't paying these bills. You ain't in this house with us. And furthermore, you don't even know what I'm doing. A lot of us, we can go vent to a family member and tell them something, and everything is that the spouse is the bad person. But your very few family members going to say, well, what you do? What did you do wrong? What made him act the way he acted? A lot of people just go off that one side with what their loved one got to say, and don't look at the 2 or 3 sides of a story. So, you know, I don't feel bad for her. I feel bad for baby girl. Well, you know, I felt a little bit bad for her, but I'm learning not to feel bad for women crying just because tears flying, because it could be lies behind them tears. But I feel bad in the sense that she said she regretted, like, damn, here goes another one. You know, broke up a home. But I more so feel bad for the daughter. I feel bad for because some of us wish we could have. We look at our lives and we're like, dang, I wish my parents would have been married. I don't even know what it's like. I know what it's like to be in a 2-parent household now as a married couple with my husband. But I'm telling you, I've never, it ain't like I even witnessed my parents divorce. I have never known my parents together, period, my entire life. And I'm not trying to beat my parents up, but y'all know we talk real talk around here. It is what it is. And I ain't afraid to put myself out there and my experiences to go off of. And I'm saying that to say off of my experiences, I know for damn sure you don't let nobody get up in your relationship, especially if everything they got to say is negative. You listen to people who got stuff positive to say when it comes to a relationship, but this chick just feeds into the narrative. I know they gonna be dragging her on social media. It's actually trending right now, but I'm gonna go ahead and get up out of here. Y'all leave me a comment, a like, and subscribe. Y'all know I'm trying to get to 10K subs, so you already know what I want you to do. And shout out to all my Detroit fam, and shout out to all my day ones. Everybody who's been rocking with me since day one. I love y'all. And I'll catch you in the next.
Talk your shit.